Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Uchi. I am here as promised with a couple of fellow Sentai friends of mine. We got HouseTop, we got Tempestt, we got QT-PYE for the first ever Super Sentai mini podcast. So pretty much we're just gonna kind of talk about each week's episode for Kaito Sentai Lupinranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. Each week, just kind of like quick thoughts, summary based on what we just saw. So we just saw episode 3. Obviously, this is when we're starting the podcast, we're not gonna do episode 1 or 2 because we figured after episode 2, hey, we should probably do this every week because we naturally just had a conversation about what we thought about it anyway. So here we are on YouTube. So that being said, Mr. HouseTop, what do you think about this episode?
I loved it. I love every episode, but most importantly, I love that we got to see the Patrangers. That you got to use their or Kaito Rangers. They got to use their Zord, which is pretty cool because we got to see the Lupinrangers last episode with theirs. Even though the Kaito Rangers did not have the saw blade that I really enjoyed from Rangers, they had the baton and they had the gun, which was pretty cool. We saw a little bit of backstory with what's his face, blue dude. I can't remember his name. Wow, I can't remember his name. That's bad. Toma. We got to see more backstory of him. I was actually really excited. So yeah, that was. But there wasn't really much stuff I didn't like. I think it was a pretty good episode all around. I really like the dynamic that they have going on and how well you can see the differences between the two teams. How they're like stark, like how I mentioned that they're like stark contrast of one another. Some predictions I have. I think how you said that the next episode will probably be based around the yellow Lupinranger, just to see more of her backstory, only because we haven't seen really much of her yet. And then I think we'll see more of Goody and what's his face, Komura. I think we'll see some more stuff about them.
Awesome.
Because I think they got some history that we don't know about yet.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Now, QT-PYE, how about you? What did you think about this week's episode?
I like the episode. I love seeing when the Patent Rangers all fuse.
Okay.
Some things I didn't like, whereas I feel like we've been focusing on the Lupin Rangers a lot more than Patent Rangers, so it's kind of hard to connect with those characters. So I'm hoping we get to see more of that next week. And I know you guys had predicted that the next episode will focus on the Yellow Ranger. I'm hoping we get more backstory from the opposite team.
All right. Yeah, it sounds really good. I'll probably get into it when it's my turn because I'll be last. So, Tempestt, Mr. Sexual Chocolate, Tempestt himself. Yes. Tell us what you thought about this week's episode.
I like the episode. Not much, really bad to say about it. I feel like, because I think they started off with Rangers, they're probably going to, focus on them first, and then the Pato Rangers. We're kind of at least getting an idea into the personalities of the Pato Rangers.
Okay.
Which, that's fine with me. I like the fact that with the Pato Rangers, they have a focus on fusion, whereas the Loop Rangers, their special ability, it's like creating more. So that probably has something to do with their team dynamics, how they're going to focus on in the future. I like how they're pretty much hinting at the fact that that the Lupin Rangers are the ones that are kind of using the Pato Rangers for their purpose in continuing. But I think that Good Striker, there's something going there. They kind of made that obvious, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what that goes, where the connection is. But I feel like Pato Rangers are probably going to get strung on Rangers for they figure everything out.
All right, sounds good. So, this week I thought that this episode was like pretty okay. I liked how I felt like we saw a little bit more of the Patrangers this time around. I mean, I guess at least how they left off episode 2 and they transitioned right into episode 3 where they showed up at their little cafe shop. I really liked the humor that the Patrangers seem to have with each other, just because of the dynamic that the Red Ranger, I believe it's Keiichiro, I believe his name is. Yeah, he's like very aggressive, and he's like the perfect counterpart to Kairi, the Lupin Red. So it's not like you have like a complete carbon copy Red Ranger on either team. They're both different, just like every character has their own separate personality. Like the Green Ranger on the Patranger side is like a goofball kind of how do I say it? Like he's like clumsy, you know, he's like always like he's probably like the weakest on the team, I guess you can say. Then like, you know, Toma, he's like more serious, and he's like the cool Blue Ranger that normally is the theme for, like, you know, for those that don't know, like each color normally sticks to a certain characteristic or characteristic trait. Blue sticks with that. So yeah, I kind of like how there's that dynamic between each character, and you get to see like the difference, and we did get to see like some kind of background for Toma. Like he had a flashback for his wife that you know, got passed, and that's, you know, one of his reasons in being a Lupin Ranger in the first place. Something I didn't like, it's probably because I mean, this is probably like biased, but I don't know, this is me, it's my opinion. I didn't like how we didn't see the Lupin Ranger Zord, but I mean, I can understand why, considering that kind of like how HouseTop was saying, we are definitely getting a lot more Lupin Ranger than Patranger right now. So then going along with what QT-PYE was saying, I definitely agree in that. Hopefully we do get to see more Patranger as well. And I feel like that's just going to be the flow of the show overall. I think that we're, you know, as certain episodes are going to be more focused on the other team, you know, over the others. So, you know, like it started off, I feel like they started off right with showing us like heavy Lupin Ranger focused scenes and all that kind of stuff, because they're probably like, you know, they probably perceived as like the cooler team, or the team that has the better suits and the better, you know, interactions, and they kind of do as it is right now. They're more, I don't know, like friendly, or what, like, you know, like you could just watch them and just like fall in love with them like instantly, just like based on like how they act in certain situations. Like they're just so cool. But then like the Pata Rangers are just like, they seem way more serious based off of Keiichiro. Like his character is like, you know, really distinctly like above the others, and he's just so like in your face. So it's like you kind of just like lay off a little bit. But yeah, that's basically what I think. And what I'm looking forward to kind of wrap this up is, I do hopefully, you know, tying in with all you guys, what you guys are saying, is like I really do hope that we do get to see some more Pata Rangers, just to kind of even it out. I mean, it is only going to be episode 4 by the time next week comes around, so we'll see what happens. So that way, if we do get more Pata Rangers next week, in addition to this background story that it looks like we might be getting for Lupin Yellow, that'll at this point it'll even it out. I would definitely say, like, you know, first 2 episodes were definitely heavily in Lupin Ranger's favor, whereas Pata Rangers, they're only just starting to get any kind of attention. I do wanna know, if anything, why Keiichiro is so bitter as he is. I feel like there's some kind of reason. You know, there's always a reason as to why people are the way they are. In, you know, series like this, doesn't even have to be Sentai. It could be like anything, like anime or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. Any of you guys want to add or chime in, go right ahead. If not, we can just wrap this up.
I'm thinking that Keitro's backstory is that as a child, he came home to his village and his parents were killed by some mysterious enemy. And the mysterious enemy is what he's going to be going after now.
Similar to like Lupinrangers in a way, like they just got
I was
their
making fun of Jiren, but yeah, that too.
Okay. Wow.
But no, I have the feeling that they are affected in the same way by the ice as everybody else was. They just haven't shown it yet. Because I think that in the episodes to come, we're definitely going to see a lot more on the Patrangers.
Okay.
Because I think they're just really building up the Lupinranger, like you said, because they are the quote unquote cooler team. Like I feel like, as for right now, they're a little bit more relatable because they're kind of like we have a reason to root for them. Whereas with the Patrangers, we really haven't gotten anything like that yet. It's been more like, oh, we have the Lupin pieces and we use them because we're the police, and because we're the police, we fight the bad guys. More so than we're a team that is fighting to save the loved ones that we lost because of this bad evil that has taken over the collection and stuff like that.
All right. Anything else from QT or Tempestt?
Nah.
I really feel like when it comes to like the storytelling dynamic, at least for this one, everything makes sense so far.
That's
I
good,
wouldn't
yeah.
exactly call it unbalanced, just due to the fact that it's started, and the team that obviously has the focus on the pieces for the Lupin collection are the Lupinrangers.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, them getting the focus at the beginning makes sense, and then obviously they're showing off abilities for each team one-off. So it's like, you know, they showed, hey, Rangers, what they do, and then Possible Rangers, hey, they're Rangers too. The police are Rangers too. So it's like they show the transformations, each episode showed what they do. Then the second episode, they showed the fusion for the Pato Rangers, but they showed the Zord for the Lupin Rangers. So then, in the third episode, they did the opposite. They showed the on foot ability for the Lupin Rangers, but they showed the Zord Pato Rangers. So, while story wise, yeah, they're kind of focusing the Rangers right now, I think it would be important if they did try to squeeze in the Pato Rangers with the Lupin Rangers. So I think they're just doing one and getting it out of the way, and as far as ability is concerned, they're just flip-flopping because they can do that. There's two teams. They each have an ability in relation to each other. Obviously, it's different, but, you know, it's something that functions the same way with Good Striker. So, honestly, so far, yeah, it's from a storytelling aspect, it's pretty balanced.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
I agree too.
All right, cool, guys. So thanks for joining us here for the first ever mini podcast for the newest edition of Super Sentai, aka Kaito Sentai Lupinranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. So we'll be back here next week for our thoughts, summary, predictions for episode 4 next week. So we'll see you guys next time.